Well, it's time to get on with even more of the extra missions of the game. I think we are pretty much going to get through 3 countries worth of extra levels today, so this is going to be awesome and quite long, so I apologise for that now. Oh look, it's the boss man. So that mission is technically cleared, and you can continue it by going and talking to him in Aptos. It's just the way it works, really. Now, I believe there are 2 day stages for Aptos. One of them is more irritating than the other. And once again, I'm doing Act 3 before Act 2, because it's totally logical. But upon saying that, Act 3 is actually easier than Act 2, which is really odd. Because essentially what Act 3 is it's the last section from the main level, where you're climbing the tree. And you've got to get higher and higher and higher. I mean, I can't quite... It's basically kind of a lapping system, which does tend to happen a bit throughout the levels. And so I do... Even though that level is so short and actually really easy, it is quite fun. I missed all of the medals. But, oh well, it doesn't matter, I don't need the medals anymore. At least I'm pretty sure I don't need the medals anymore. Pretty damn sure. Because most, if not all of the levels that you need unlock after you have level 6. The only major one that I could think of that requires the 7 is Jungle Joyride Day. Anyway, this mission is a pain, as you can see by my incredibly decreased life counter. Because basically what the level wants you to do is it wants you to drift around these corners, but unfortunately the drift is quite unruly, and I can't say Sonic is the best at turning corners in this game. It requires a particular control over the control stick, which I just don't have. Now you can cheese this level quite well by doing a massive boost over a particular point in the level. I can't remember where it is in the level, but you can literally cut off about half, which is very helpful considering you are on a very strict time limit to get this done. I mean, this is one of the reasons that I had so much trouble with this mission, is because you literally only have the amount of time you're given, and it's not... It's very tight. And yeah... It'd be so much easier if I could pull off the boost trick, and if I could drift correctly, but I can't, so... I will always suck at that mission. Now, one thing I will point out is that, rather annoyingly, resetting, because in a mission you can restart, so you go back to the beginning, but and I don't know whether kind of it's only in the alternate missions that it does it. I mean, I'd assume that it does it in the actual levels as well, but I never noticed because it didn't reset that much. But you lose a life when you restart a mission, which, I mean, I guess means that you have got to be very careful about when you reset, but it's a bit mean, I think. Especially when sort of you're trying to go for a decent run of a level, you reset to make it work, and then it just doesn't work because you lose a life. Now, yay for tight ropes. It's not technically a tightrope, but it's that same thing. Now, as with quite a lot of the later stages, basically I died quite frequently. So you will see medals that have been already collected and all sorts throughout the years. I'm just not good enough at these later levels to be able to be successful at getting across them, which is a bit sucky, but these extra missions are difficult because they really do require you to be at your best in terms of your platforming abilities, not so much your combat abilities. They don't really test that, but certainly combat. And here we have a big mother in a tightly enclosed space. Isn't it always wonderful with large enemies in enclosed spaces? Thankfully, it's a big mother, so it's nowhere near the stressful thing of a Titan. And that's that. I mean, most of these are very, very, very short. Apart from some of the later night missions, they're actually quite long. But the majority of the extra acts are really short. You probably can do them in about a minute or under, in the case of the day stages in Mazuri. And yeah, that's pretty much all of the Mazuri acts. Well, that is all of the Mazuri acts done. So yeah, no, I don't know whether I discussed the hot dog vendors that you can see about town. Essentially, what they get you to do is you have to tackle a stage with a set task to do, like beat it in under X minutes, get X number of rings, don't get hit, and so on and so forth. And they can be, well, they can be useful in the sense that upon completing them, you will get a hot dog, which gives you quite a lot of experience points. I think it might be one of the highest experience point giving items in the game. But yeah, there's not really much point to them other than going for 100% completion and getting an achievement. But that is literally the extent of the of that. And here we have Cool Edge Act 2. If I recall correctly, this is actually the only extra mission in Cool Edge, well, in Holoska, and it's difficult. It's basically one of the many lapping missions in the game, where you've got to go around a lap that gets progressively harder, and let's just say it's frustrating. Because you're running on water, you are more likely to die you are going to die if you get hit, or if you don't pick up enough rings. So it requires quite a bit of skill that I just don't have. I mean, I will point out that it doesn't help that Sonic sometimes goes a bit too quickly for his own good. And sometimes the controls are a wee bit unresponsive. I mean, it's not really a major problem. because the game's still playable and it's still, you can still easily, well, I say easily, if you're very, very good at the game, you can beat it, no problem. But for those of us who aren't endowed with phenomenal gaming prowess, it's a little bit more difficult. Anything that falls on me, just no, kill it with fire. Just murder it for everything it's worth. Well, it's not too bad, I guess, considering I died so many times. And, the penguins were having a little dance. They were doing the happy feet thing. I just can't quite believe I've just made a happy feet reference in a Sonic game. Why? It's amazing what your brain kind of makes you think of. Wonderful. That was not intended. Because the annoying thing is that you have to get up. I don't even know why I'm bothering to go up there. I don't actually know what's up there. Yeah, I want the tea. Give it me. There we go. Basically the tea you give to, the guy in Shamar who, wants it. So yeah, there is actually no reason whatsoever to come up here. At all. So, I don't actually know why that's there. Seems like a bit of a wasted area to me. Unless there is something there and I'm just being completely blind to it. Which, to be honest, is probably what the case is, but even then. Now, yeah, basically, I was attempting to, get the rather hilarious optional video, which apparently you can do by buying a 10-smoked moon, but, let's just say, no, you can't. I think what you need to do is, well, I think what you need to do is become best friends with Chip, and then give him nice food in Holoska. And, that is how you go about getting the extra videos. But I wasted a lot of money on the smoked moon, and it didn't work, which made me a sad panda. Because I wanted that video because it's hilarious. To be honest, I wanted all the videos, but I think I just didn't go about it the right way, unfortunately. And now we head on into Chun-Nan, which, like Mazuri, has 3 optional missions, which is quite cool. And the night mission, the extra night mission, is actually really long and really difficult. Day stages difficulty is debatable, but they're also a challenge, to say the least. Also, I think I'm probably going to get them in the wrong order again. Gosh darn it. Sonic, why do you need to be so slippery and fast? It's not fun for me sometimes when you are like this. I want my precision. And I want my pick-me-up. Good grief. I really, really, really need to get better at that. Anyway. Here is the Act 3 again. Now I think that this time I'm actually going to do Act 2 before I do Act 3. Because... just because kind of I've had enough of doing Act 3s before Act 2s. Because it's pretty much all I've done. Now, if I recall correctly, this is essentially another lap mission.
Here we go!
Although, unlike the Spagonia and Velasco ones, you've got to do this in one go, which is really mean. But thankfully the mission is slightly easier because of it. Like, I'm pretty sure they would have been more evil if they'd given you the checkpoints. And there are also quite a few different paths, I believe, which is quite cool. So, if you can do well at this stage, then you are going to be better off than I am. I still quite like Dragon Road. I mean, I wish it had been a bit more colourful. I mean, even though I'm not a fan of the Wii PS2 version of the game, even though I've not played it, so technically I can't really say anything. The Dragon Road in that had a really nice design because you had lots of cherry blossoms everywhere, which was quite cool. But yeah, now precision platforming once again. It's always wonderful. And oh dear. Yeah, I'm not good at this game.
Can't win 'em all.
Exactly, Sonic. You can't win them all. It's just the way life goes. You see, this explains why my skills depleted the second I got into these extra missions, because you can't win them all. And yeah, this mission's rather difficult. Basically, just all the extra missions are actually quite hard. They decided, oh, you finished the game now, let's ramp up the challenge a lot. Let's make you suffer. I mean, it is pretty much just like some very expert platforming is needed, and some expert timing as well, because especially with these guys, you've got to know when to jump. And I mean, part of what you should be technically doing in this level is being a master at using the boost, like here. But I think what happened to me was that I ended up flying off the edge instead of actually hitting the spring, so it's just like, take it nice and slow. Just take your time, finish the level. Because, yeah, finishing the level is always more important than anything else. And now that we have done the day stages, it's time to go into one of the more difficult night stages in the game. Why is it so difficult, you may ask? Well, it requires you to carry the stones about over tight ropes. Yes, thank you for that, Sonic Team. Because, like, I am perfectly fine with, doing the night mission. Well, we're doing all the battling and just general platforming. But the second you require me to carry something over a tightrope and do not give me any ability to be more careful, that's when I have a problem. As you will see in this mission, it's evil. I mean, at the start it's like, okay, this looks fine, okay. There's some evil death hammers trying to murder us. That's fine. And oh dear God, we've got to walk across this with the stone. And Sonic's a bit too fast and slippery for his own good. And you can't move the camera around. So, I mean, it generally does a decent job at moving for you. But it's just no. Just no, Sonic Team. Just no. That's not fair. At all. I mean, I cannot remember how many times I saw this battle land, a battle that's going to appear in a couple of minutes. Because I died so many times in this mission. Largely, there's just one point where death just kept happening. I mean, just look at this. How is that fair? Why am I not allowed to use the double jump? That would have just made things easier if maybe a bit finicky again, but still would have been better. And enemies are wonderful. Let's get out of my way, let me put down the stone. There we go, sorted. You don't get in my way until I'm done. Thank you. So yeah, I don't know whether this is definitely the hardest night stage in the game, because I can't quite remember how difficult the Jungle Joyride Night Act 2 is, but it's certainly the hardest one that we have faced up to this point. Because the amount of platforming precision that it requires, and considering the fact that the game isn't particularly made for this precision platforming, or at least this type of precision platforming, makes it a bit more difficult. So, yes, evil things. I believe it was this fight that I saw what felt like an absolutely stupid number of times because of the section that we have to cross just now. Because essentially what you need to do is you need to take 2 stones over to the other side. Because they're such great people, just making you do that. I mean, I know I sound probably like a complete and utter wimp to say that this level is really mean, but I'm sorry, you tried doing this platform, this tightrope section 3 times. Because, no, 4 times. Why would it be 3? Because you've got to take this over once, which is hard enough as it is. I do believe there is a no, there's not a medal, otherwise I probably would have jumped for it. But the problem is that because of how Sonic stands when carrying stuff, it's very uncertain when he how do I put this? It's very difficult to know quite when he's going to fall off, essentially. Now, I can't quite remember what the logic is for this section, but I think it's pretty much murder the enemies, put that red block into the into its hole, hit the checkpoint, and then go back for the other red one. And oh my god, so many red killer bees! Murder them! Murder them! I still hate these creatures. That they are just vile, vile enemies that I wish I could destroy with every inch of my being. Yeah, take that. Am I going for the logical approach? Or not? I think I was weighing up my options. Oh no. Okay, that was... Oh, either way, as long as you hit that and then go back to get the other red one, it's all the same in the end. But I really, really despise this particular section of the planks of wood. The only thing that they could have done to make this any worse would be to be absolutely wonderful people and make them collapse. Which would thereby mean that you couldn't complete the level after you'd crossed it once, but who cares? All in the name of difficulty, hey? And oh, that was close. That was really, really, really close. Yes, if you didn't spot it, there's a big mother through the door that you're going to have to fight. I have to say, I mean, you probably noticed this, but I do very much prefer the big mothers to the titans. They're just more fun to fight. They're also easier to fight, but their lack of a shockwave attack just makes them so much fairer. Anything that doesn't have a shockwave is an absolutely fine enemy, in my opinion. So shockwaves just make enemies really cheap and annoying, and not worth the trouble at all. Now, this mission is quite funny, in the sense that you basically do everything just to get back to where you began, which is a bit of a stupid decision to make that happen, but it's an interesting one nonetheless. All of the experience points. It's just wonderful seeing all of that just explode out of him. Oh yes. Oh, I missed that. But that's annoying. But that's the end of the mission, finally. I mean, seriously, that extra night stage was really long. I think it was about the same length as Jungle Joyride Night. Blimey heck. But either way, we've actually hit level 7 on the moon medal counter, so go me. That pretty much means that we have over 125 medals in each category, which means that we most definitely have well over half of all of the medals in the game, which is an awesome achievement. And now that we have finished up at Chun-Nan, it's time to head back to Shamar, Empire City, and Adabat, and complete the final extra missions of the game. Yay!